Hey everyone, welcome back to Inspire at Random. In this video, I want to talk about spontaneity for us autistic and Asperger Syndrome people, particularly Asperger Syndrome people, because I'm an Aspie. You know that from my previous videos too that I mentioned. And I also have previous videos on this channel about Asperger, like what are some of the jobs that are best for people who have Asperger Syndrome, what is it like living as an Asperger Syndrome adult. So do check those videos out, subscribe to my channel as well. Alright, so today going into this topic, and by the way, my latest hobby is also Quora, so if you are also on Quora, reach out to me. I have my Quora link down below. Do check it out. Do check out some of the topics I've been posting. And you know, the fact that even in just my few days of participating on Quora, the amount of views, upvotes have been way more than I expected, and it's actually a very de-stressing thing for me right now too. So one of the topics I've been coming across and I've been requested to answer on Quora is like Asperger syndrome people dealing with spontaneity, how to be more spontaneous and at the same time there's a very related question too, like for people who have Asperger syndrome, how do we at the same time like cope with how do Asperger syndrome people may maintain employability? What are some of the aspects that make them less employable? Okay, so I've done a video about jobs for Asperger people, and like I said, you know, Asperger syndrome people first and foremost, we have advantages that other people do not have. But at the same time, life is fair. So for what we're good at, we suck at some things too. And particularly that's actually like reactions, interpersonal skills sometimes. So when you see me speaking like this, as a matter of fact, I'm actually quite good at public speaking, but interpersonal communication, I still can be kind of awkward. It's funny, right? But it's true. So and at the same time, I do have weaknesses in dealing with high pressure situations. I feel that I have a problem trying to critically think. So this is a bit ironic because, as you know, as an Asperger individual, you know, we have very good logic, pattern recognition, analytical skills. But that's when we have the time to think. But when we have to do things on the fly, that's what really stumps us. Like I was recently doing like a procurement deal for my work that didn't go so well, and you know, during times when like it was like really, you know, up to the fly, it was really high pressure because like there were timelines, deadlines, um, uh, boats to meet, offices, closing times to catch, and in those times having to relay messages to decipher what's real, what wasn't, what's an excuse, what's BS, what's made up. You know, I felt having some trouble to make a critical response at those times. So um, I know I'm going with the second topic that I wanted to talk about first, but you know, so be it, because my inspiration ran this way. And and that's actually about being spontaneous too, isn't it? Running with your inspiration. So yeah, I can tackle these two topics at once, and like as you watch this video, I hope you can also like if you're an Asperger person, I hope you can, you know, as you watch me explain about this topic, and I hope that maybe if it helps, this could perhaps change the way you communicate. You can perhaps find that it's actually okay to jump between topics and so-called, you know, multi-thread. There's actually a term for it. It's called multi-threading. Anyway, so coming to this work issue, like I have these problems dealing with stress. So like I mentioned in a Quora post too, that I wish I could be put in I could be deployed a little bit better in my work. To be honest with you, I wish I could be deployed better. Uh, I excel in presenting and providing information, and you know like the whole like you know front end sales stuff, but the risk but it, like the operational side, okay, I feel that I'm better on a back end, like when I can look at the overall process, but on the front line, you know, when I really have to make up to the fly decisions, you know, I unfortunately space out, and some of you can probably relate with that too. So space out sometimes, say even like meltdown, meltdown like. And there will be, of course, life is never always rosy, and there are situations where, like, I was part of a fault, and receiving, reprimand for a fault, a bad decision whatsoever. Like sometimes, people who are trying to give me improvement feedbacks, they get frustrated. Even at a relationship level as well, even with my spouse, I get that too sometimes because, I would just, and they see the non-response is frustrating. They don't know whether I'm listening or not, but the fact of it is, I am. All right, so my son has the same thing too. Like his teacher has gives me the feedback that, like sometimes, it doesn't seem like he's paying attention, but at the same time he gets everything correct. So my son is a very brilliant boy, and tops his class, but his what comes across as inattentive, uh, it's actually just our way of doing things sometimes. So in some aspects, maybe we can actually work on what is known as active listening. That's a skill that we need to develop. Active listening. So it's basically looking like you're paying attention, even though, or at least remembering to look as though you're paying attention, even though you really are. Just that the way that you're paying attention is different from others. Next thing would be like to calm down. All right. So we tend to sometimes go gibberish. Okay. Like we're not really processing the inputs when it's overwhelming. We're so good at it sometimes, but when the heat is on, just so in those times, calm down. Could be an argument, could be a work problem. Calm down, let's have a look at what's happening. Like one of the weaknesses that I realize that I have as an Aspie is that we're so good at visualization, right? And sometimes it also makes us naive and sometimes even gullible too, because when we're so good at visualizing a whole scenario that sometimes when most of the details are there, we just assume that some of them are already there, and sometimes we actually we frame ourselves into believing things are a certain way based on the inputs of someone who didn't have such good intentions to us. And I have a good friend. He recently also no, he not recently, but he has gotten scammed a couple of times. I personally also feel that in work, sometimes under pressure, the critical thinking wasn't the best. So try to be more back end when it comes to if you can, but frontline, let's say presentations, addressing crowds. This is good because we have the info on tap. We can visualize on tap, and what makes us so good at public speaking or addressing a crowd or doing things to a crowd is that we're not even thinking about the fact that nervousness, blah blah, because the whole damn script is out there in our heads. I can talk off the fly like this. Okay, now coming back to this initial topic about spontaneity. To be spontaneous is actually to accept yourself. So many Asperger individuals may be discouraged to behave, to accept and behave as they think, because maybe you have some prejudgment on yourself on how people will react to you, which may not necessarily be true. So I'd love to give you some starting points and advice that maybe you may want to try to, today, just have some experiments, what you really think. You can actually just say it, okay? We have some of a setback, which is that sometimes when we run our mouth without too much consideration, we may say things that offend people, and people may think otherwise. And only we know the real reasons behind that logic, but other people could be getting all suspicious. So be calm at the same time, but when you are in a good mental state, we perform best when we're in a good mental state. So trying to get into a good mental state is very important as well. So what I found for me that helps a lot is to run my energy. I do meditation. Like for those like running your, if you know about chakras and running energy, cosmic energy, earth energy. I'll talk about that in other videos next time. But being able to discharge is one of the very important, discharge your like channel all the negativity down into the center of the earth, and that's actually really important. I'll talk about that in different videos next time. But I'll say that if not for meditation, I would not be where I am today. I would not, I'll probably be a lot more stressed, a lot more incapable, a lot more unable to cope with my duties, basically. So, anyways, I sorry for all the rant. I'm just making this, raw and candid for you. And if there are any additional questions about, like workforce aspects, like strengths and weaknesses of an Aspie, like that you may be feeling, and and you're wondering how to get around it. I hope to be able to offer some advice, because through all the various life challenges, relationships, work, I think I've come a very long way in be able to strike a balance that neurotypicals can kind of see where I'm coming from. So I'm able to tune in to that middle way of communication. So I hope to be able to help people out here do the same too. Thank you. And please subscribe and leave a comment.